This green fellow with the gun isn't technically a new enemy type, he just likes to jump while he fires, and the idea is to hit him after he lands, but the after part is important, because if he lands directly on you, you'll end up getting hurt. Oh, and the basic enemies now have a new attack where they can float up and perform a dive kick on us. This is incredibly easy to avoid, just we don't want to stand on the same plane as them, and we'll be fine. Thankfully, none of the enemies can move around in the air quite like we can. Alright, this is one of the weirder facets of the game. There are side-scrolling shooter segments. Very, very easy side-scrolling shooter segments. You could probably get through just fine by staying in the center of the screen and mashing the attack button and not moving at all. I am pretty sure that's how I did it when I first bought this game. But these sections being easy is not really a negative, because these sprites are enormous. And if there was some bullet hell stuff going on here, it would be very confusing and very frustrating. Some of the enemies during these sections drop health pickups. It's never the exact same enemy. Here's an enemy spaceship. It only drops these little astronaut guys at us, the blue ones. And we can destroy them as soon as they come out. So this spaceship is just cannon fodder, really. We just mash the attack button. It comes back later. And it is thankfully more difficult upon returning, but we can still completely cheese it out if we want to, which of course we do. Retro beat-em-ups like this taught me how to break video games by thinking outside, or rather extremely inside the box. And that is a useful skill. I do have some slight resentment toward this game, because it's a lot more fair than most old beat-em-ups. It's still difficult in some spots, but it's a lot more fair than most old beat-em-ups I've played. And this game and Streets of Rage set my expectations to an unreasonable level. I thought that all beat-em-ups were going to be this fair. That was wrong. Playing some fucking Final Fight for the first time cleared that right up, let me tell ya. Not Final Fight 2, of course, because that one is actually really simple and easy. By the way, Wasp's entire function is to give us an extra boost in attack when we shoot her at enemies, like we're doing right here. Kills the enemies much faster. Not a lot to talk about during these sections, so I just decided to rant about beat-em-ups in general. I mean, even if you do get hit here, the shots deal so little damage. I suppose I could mention how Captain America is clearly throwing clones of his shield. As he is the only character without a normal projectile, he just throws his shield insanely fast, physically impossibly fast. You may have noticed that Wasp left, and that's because we're reaching the end of this ocean that was, for some reason, in the middle of a city. I mean, the game calls it a town, but with buildings this big, it's clearly a city. And we are about to come across a very easy mini-boss. This guy has 3 attacks. He swings his arm up and down, which we can avoid by staying in the corners of the screen. He also shoots his hand at us, which we avoid simply by moving up or down. And he also shoots a fuck ton of lasers, and it's very hard to dodge those no matter what you do. But even if you get hit 100% of the time, he dies so quickly that you'll probably be fine and still won't lose a life. So it looks like we're a bit late here. Red Skull really screwed this place up. It's time to hop off our hovering Dorkmobile and get back into regular beat-em-up gameplay with more of these grab-happy enemies. Jump attacks or shield throws are the safest way to get rid of them. Walking up and punching them is a bad idea for obvious reasons. Still, they don't do that much damage. I like the building that says Data East. Now, I can't prove anything, but I feel like the developer of the Genesis version of Captain America and the Avengers had a lot more respect for the original game. The Genesis version being the one we're playing right now, of course. The Super Nintendo version feels like garbage, and it looks like garbage, and they fixed a lot of the grammar mistakes, but that's the only positive. If you can call that a positive. because they fixed the grammar mistakes, they neglected to use the voice clips, which is a no-no. I mean, some things you just gotta leave as is for the presentation. I believe after this next enemy, Quicksilver pops up and gives us even more health, so we'll have 120. I'm not sure exactly what he's giving us that heals us like that, but I'm grateful. Here's some more of those yellow grabby hand enemies that are basically just ranged versions of the grabby red guys. These green guys with guns don't jump all that much, in spite of what we saw earlier. And then there's some flea robots, which you should really only take out with your shield, because they can hurt you if you jump attack them, and normal attacking them means they might land on you. This next group of enemies is easy peasy, but I like to make it slightly more difficult on myself by actually using these purple barrels. Your shield is 100% more effective than the purple barrels, or any thrown item for that matter. But they put these purple barrels here for a reason, so I'm going to use them even if I shouldn't.
You came here to die.
There goes Reaper, threateningly blowing that tree away, and that was supposed to be cutting it, but, you know, graphical limitations and what have you. So Reaper's main attack is that he charges at us with his blade out. We can jump over that and then kick him while he's floating in the air. He's most vulnerable while he's floating in the air because he can't hurt us while he's like that, and he can't swat us away either. I could have done better. I got hit with his homing projectile too many times, but we'll live.